having paid my parents' bills for you don't 7 years ago. My brother told me I don't even have kids, so I cut them off. Andy booked a flight to Spain. I didn't get the bonus because I left work early. Dinner, and a $540 flight in on Christmas Eve. There was a sticky note on my chair. The bride-to-be of Troy. She's new here. We thought you'd be fine, Mom said. Sure, I responded. I then took me bags and left. My sister texted once more, 31 minutes later. So sensitive it wasn't a big deal. I went to my app and stopped help from family. But what my dad said at 9:04 p.m. changed everything. I took off for this one-way trip, $540. I left work at noon and skipped the everything. Got pushed at the company bonus dinner, threw everything into a duffel bag and ran to Theirport because family was in Pratanhai. Still thought that showing up means something. I hadn't seen them do in person since the Christmas before. We hadn't with the group video calls for birthday texts and to miss you faces. But this year, I was going back home. He thought of the smell of roasted ham, how my mom always set the first off cookies, and how my dad faked tears during midnight thought about sitting down at the table, found that it had already been taken seriously. I walked into the dining room, with the snow is still melting in my hair, as I hold a one-half soggy gift bag with presents inside Ed's favorite alcohol, and saw that first. A post-it note, a small pink square set aside on the back of a dinner chair for Troy's fiancé. That's it. No jokes, yes. Those 5 words did it. Written by Mom. I looked at the note with my eyes closed, as if I squint really hard. Does it go away? Enough? Oh, Mom, she said as she walked out of Thekachin with that smile she always has. As if I hadn't been through 3 time zones and dinner. She's new here, she said with a shrug. We thought you could stand on your own. It hurt to stand like a waiter, or even worse. I felt like I didn't fit, so I said, sure, automatically, and softly. Then I turned, went back, got my bags, and left down the ice road for 31 minutes. Before the phone rang, it wasn't a big deal for me, my sister said, not even a name. The message made my heart race. Andy twitched my thumb above the reply button. Went into my banking app and stopped moves of family support done. But what my dad said at 9:04 p.m. changed everything. It wasn't a post-it note, wow. That was just a match the smoke had been running away for years. To parked my car and didn't drive back to the motel. At a gas stop down the street. I watched the snow fall on my glass and turned up the heat until my ears hurt. And I began to think the truth is, I've always been the one who made things simple for them. Got my first job in it. Dad yelled, you can finally take care of your that meant family. He wasn't kidding. Begin to pay the bills, which I did, putting their internet car cover protection, and even their heating in the winter automatically and quietly, because that is what good boys do, right? Troy had big dreams, but dropped out. Went to college and couch surfed for 2 years sand, getting to know himself when he got back smashed and broken. From a failed skibs, I let him stay with me for 9 I even paid for the last month's rent. He said would help him in therapy sessions. Get his attention back when Mom went through the person who paid for your dental work last year, $3,400 bill that wasn't paid for by me when my dad's old Ford broke down, and he needed a safe way to get there. Church that helped sign the deal for a new on me. I've never once brought it up, even though I had 2 cancel trips, even though I was eating peanut pudding butter on lunch, meat, and sending money for someone else's TV bill. So when myth text my sister sent was so private I wanted toy, didn't throw my phone in the snow. I went to our family group chat instead, talked for months. Andy saw a pattern. Every time I shared if I win a raise, a job, or a work trip, he got 1 or 2 positive replies at the same time. Troy's new lover is shaving 27 comments about making cookies, 3 heartened a message from her mom. She's such a keep. It didn't end there. In July of last year, I flew up to celebrate Mom's birthday. Got there at midnight and slept on the couch, because Troy moved into my old room. I woke up to find them gone after a short time. They took Troy's fiancé to a winery. I found that taste with his girlfriend. At the time, be back written on the fridge. B5. Make yourself at home. They didn't save me even a small piece of cake. But Estelle paid for gas for the next month because that's how I was taught to act. Let the stable one be the silent one. Could come in with bills and bad credit, and a woman he met 3 months ago would shake the world to accommodate her, which includes giving her my care. That post-it note wasn't just a placement of seats, it was a message you need to be made. So I did a few. I set up my automatic payments and called my calls. Told the accountant I was going Toto, stopped giving money to my family trust made for years because Dad liked a retirement plan that didn't. First time you told the IRS about IRE was completely selfish. For years it took out Thai food that was very hot and sat in my laptop, and I in that hotel room by ourselves open Netflix and play it. And for once I had no doubts at all. Until 9:04 p.m. when Dad called. I looked at the screen for a while, thought about whether to reply. Myth finger moved around and then hit hey, I said flat. There was a pause. That really means something. You've left him, said. Sure did. Your mom's mad. Also the person who took my chair. Another stop. This time, the length of time ice longer. It wasn't meant to be that way, okay? Let's say she didn't. What about Troy texted me 2 hours ago to see if I could help pay for their next wedding. Summer quiet. Yes. I said. You didn't know that. Parta Dad breathed out deep, hefty, and familiar. You already know that Troy isn't as lucky as you are. I asked. No. Dad. Troy's carelessness makes me laugh. It's not the same thing as being responsible. Ace is good for him and getting better. Sitting in my chair, don't make a scene. That was it. A golden word. I always used this one when I was brave. Troy shut my eyes and pinched myself. The bridge of my nose. You know what, Dad? I'm done being the guy who works 60 hours a week. Weeks, so that everyone else can play act like I'm no longer your safety net. We didn't ask for it, so that's not true, said back. You expected it. I'm okay with it because I never asked for it. Well, here's the truth. I'm not in a long time, son. It's Christmas. Please be quiet. Even I won't have anyone else around at a hotel, because you had to be next to a gas station, Troy's fiancée, to feel more welcome. Then your son had to be at the table, just like Dad did. Not talk again. So I did that talking about, and I didn't hear from him again. I hadn't planned to come back for 4 days. Not after everything they did and after what they haven't done. But Troy called me 3 days after Christmas. His number showed up on my screen, and first thing that came to mind was to ignore it. But being curious is a bad thing. I replied, what? There was a pause then. Hey man, that was a weird question. Did you stop giving family help? What are transfers? I slouched back in my chair. Yeah, you didn't tell anyone. No one knew. Asked. Okay, he nervously replied. Well, things are getting tight. I know that my mortgage bounced in January. Then there was silence in the softest, mostly air sound I've ever heard him use. Let's talk. I laughed really hard. You want to talk about what changed now, Troy? I forgot to bring post-it notes. It was only 8 was a message from seat bro number. That was pretty clear from my mom. So I hung up 5 after a few minutes. Mom texted. Mom, please, let's meet for coffee. I didn't answer because I knew what she meant. What was going to happen? Dad called that night. I let it ring. I think he left a message. We need to meet up in person on Sunday. I looked at the phone during dinner, smashing Sunday dinner, which is an old habit. Pot apple pie and roast beef. Everyone claimed that they weren't just draining my money. Inside me, something yelled, go. Booty showed up not to make peace to end eaten Sunday night. Knocked once and let myself in like I always did. The house was clean, almost too clean, like they were. Mom left while they were making a peace pact, bat first with an apron. You came, she said. Said with a smile, as if we had forgotten about each other over Christmas. That Dad was sitting in the couch with his wore reading glasses like he meant to, looked like they were busy. Troy and his fiancée sat on the couch. She wouldn't look at me most of the time, most likely because she felt bad about herself. Good mom. Dinner's almost ready, she said. I'm not here to eat, I answered. I'm here for one reason. Everyone said to say some things I should have, sweetheart. Mom said, no, I sit off. You don't get to. Sweetheart, not after what you did. It was just a post-it note that you think this is about. I laughed at that chair. That was the cherry on top. Sunday marks 20 years of you all, making me feel like I'm the reliable one ever seen as a person. Only on. Sir Troy laughed and said, dude, you're being. I turned around and said, just don't. Two-faced Dad, you let it happen. Saw me work extra hours to pay your bills. I have to cancel my trips while you throw parties for this fool when he thought about it. Toe tie his shoes, and you let him sit in my seat and ask me for money at the same time. And the worst part is that you all. Dad stood and said, I just keep doing it. Very slowly. We never asked you, Toy, never said no to Troy, so I knew what would happen. Leaned forward. You were the one all along. You have plenty of cash and don't even have kids. Not a big deal. I turned around to face him. I feel angry inside. What's a big work 60 hours a week so mom can have and you can make a plan for a rustic farm wedding for your Tinder match? I felt good. Enough to pay for your medicine but not